Good evening, students. This is Dialis Allen. I'm providing this short video to help students in my Business 150 class, Fall 22, Monday and Wednesday. First, the exam will be chapters 1 through 7, multiple choice. Please bring a Scantron. Now, chapter 1 is a big chapter. So, let's see what we got here. Make sure you know about the business cycle, what a business is, the different types of economic systems, command and capitalism, and the one we have, mixed. You should know what CPI or the Consumer Price Index is, and the term depression. And in economics, make sure you know the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. You should know what an entrepreneur is. Remember, an entrepreneur is someone who takes the risk to start a new business. You should know what GPA is, gross domestic product, inflation, and the invisible hand, which is actually rational self-interest. Okay. Oh, one more. Market price, which is the same as the equilibrium price. This is the price where quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. You need to know the 4 different types of competition. Monopoly, one supplier. Oligopoly, only a few, 3 or 4 suppliers. Perfect or pure competition, where there are many buyers and many sellers. Monopolistic competition. There's many buyers and many sellers, but the sellers try to differentiate their product on something other than price. So again, monopoly, oligopoly, perfect competition, and monopolistic competition. You should know what the term stakeholder means. And when you think about stakeholders, make sure you get the big three. Workers, owners, customers. Okay, let's see. I think, again, I said chapter 1 is a big chapter, but I think we hit everything. Or I guess we didn't. You need to know the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Okay, I want to say, there is, again, chapter 1 is a long chapter. We were talking about the business cycle. Well, when we are in recession or depression, the government is likely to use fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is an attempt to positively impact the economy through government spending and taxes. You should also know what is a federal deficit and what is the surplus. The national debt, which is the accumulation of all past deficits. Okay, I'm going to stop with chapter 1. Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is not nearly as big as chapter 1. You need to know what ethics are and business ethics. What is a conflict of interest? Bear with me. You should be familiar with the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which provided extra protection for whistleblowers. Now, a code of ethics is one of the best ways to ensure ethical behavior. So, you should know what a code of ethics or code of conduct is. You should also know what a whistleblower is. Okay, now let's talk about social responsibility. You should know what social responsibility is in the two separate views. The economic model, when the belief is you only owe the stockholders, the people who bought stock. The other view is the socioeconomic model, where you owe society and various stakeholders, right? Not stockholders, stakeholders. I think that might do it. One more. Know what an affirmative action program is and what it was meant to do. Know what sexual harassment is and the difference between quid pro quo. Well, you know what? Just know what sexual harassment is. Let's get to chapter 3. 3 is an important chapter, but it's really not that big. First, what is the economic basis of global business? That means you need to know what is an absolute advantage and what is a comparative advantage. Trade deficit, we talked about last chapter, or balance of trade. If you import more than you export, you have a negative balance. Now, let's talk about the different ways to conduct global business. Importing, exporting, / licensing, contract manufacturing, joint venture, strategic alliance, and finally, direct foreign investment or direct investment when a firm builds a facility in the foreign country. You should know what a multinational corporation is, and the name says it all. It's a firm with facilities in multiple nations. Now, in terms of barriers, tariffs, quotas, and embargoes. Those are the biggies for this class. You should also know what the term protectionism means. In terms of agreements, make sure you know about the USMCA. That's the treaty that replaced NAFTA and includes Canada, Mexico, and the United States. You should also know about GATT and the WTO, World Trade Organization. Who has euros? The European Union. That's going to do it for chapter 3. Chapter 4. Well, first, This also is a very important chapter. However, I'm going to make it fast. You need to know what is a sole proprietor and the advantage and disadvantages. What is a partnership and the advantages and disadvantages? What is a corporation and its advantages and disadvantages? You also need to know about special forms like an S corporation and an LLC. Now, that's the bulk of this chapter. Few little other things, though. You need to know the difference between a general partner and a limited partner. You also need to know how corporations come to be, meaning the stockholders who then vote for the board of directors. The board of directors will then select senior officers like president and chairman of the board, and then they'll pick the rest of the organization. So, you need to know the difference between a closed and an open corporation, a domestic and a foreign corporation, the difference between common stock and preferred stock. Also, what is a dividend? What is double taxation? Okay, so that's only for corporations. So I gave you the overview. A couple of things I want to just emphasize. You should know what the term unlimited liability means. You should know what the term limited liability means. Double taxation. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Chapter 5. This is a short chapter also. This is the chapter on small businesses. So here's what I want. First, you should be able to define what is a small business. We said a business privately owned, for profit, not dominant in its field. Now, who helps the small businesses? The SBA, Small Business Association. And within the SBA, you should know the SBDC, Small Business Development Centers, SCORE, Service Corps of Retired Executives. I think there is, oh yeah, and an SBI, Small Business Institute. Also in this chapter, what is a franchise? Who is the franchisor and who is the franchisee? What are the advantages and disadvantages of being a franchisee and of being the franchisor? You should also know what a business plan is. Now, in terms of startup, you should know what venture capitalists are and angel investors. Now, I want to say that's it for this chapter. Matter of fact, I'm going to say it. That's it. Chapter 6. This is a good chapter. But again, it's not really that long when you put things in perspective. What is management? Process of coordinating people and other resources to achieve the goals of the organization. Now, my definition is the process of achieving organizational objectives through the effective and efficient use of resources. Either one, they're really saying the same thing. Then, what are the functions of management, the levels of management, the major roles managers play, like decisional. Okay. Okay. What else? Okay. So we got roles, functions, levels. Oh, also the skills that managers need, and which skills are most important for supervisors and which skills are most important for top managers. Also, you should know what a SWOT analysis is and how it works. Let's see. Oh, let me back up a little. You need to know the different levels of plans: the mission statement, strategic plan, tactical plan, operational plan, and finally, contingent plan. Now, one more question. But you know what? That's for the other class. You got operational, contingency. Okay. You got skills. You need to know the steps in the decision-making process. And what does it mean to satisfy? And actually, that's pretty much it for chapter 6. Hold on, class. Chapter 7. Okay. Chapter 7. The chapter on organizing. Make sure, here are the biggies. Make sure you know the different ways to departmentalize. Also, you should understand how organizations are created. It's based on what the firm wants to accomplish. So you pretty much start with the strategic plan and go from there. You should know different ways to departmentalize, the difference between decentralized organizations and centralized organizations. What does it mean to delegate? What the span of management means? The number of employees managed by one supervisor. Directly managed, I should add that in. The difference between line managers and staff managers. Remember, line managers are involved with meeting the firm's major objectives. Staff managers are like in-house consultants. Okay. Oh, also, you should know what the grapevine is, right? That's the organization that doesn't follow the org chart. Oh, I know what I want to add. What is a team? And what are the stages of team development? All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are the major items that will be on the midterm. I suggest you review, come in, answer all the ones you know, and then guess on the rest. Research has shown if you read it, heard it, or slept through it, your first guess is right 85% of the time. All right, class. Have a great day. Good luck.